towards the 40 mark, but fresh from that wonderful 100 in the second test at the Wanderers, and a double 100, of course, 244 in his last Currie Cup match, where Hudson did not get runs in his last Currie Cup match, but he's been in good form, and he too, the average a little low for a frontline batsman. 3 test hundreds though, to his credit. Mark Eilert from the Umgani end, and beautifully played by Andrew Hudson. He tried that shot once or twice, didn't get his weight up. This time he did, and away past the square leg umpire for 4.
Hudson's timing is so good. Reminds me of Alex Stewart, a clean striker of the ball, a little bit in the air, but really that was beautifully timed.
That's where he likes them, finds the gap, and it'll race away to the boundary, waiting for that one, pitched up outside the off stump.
Well, Mark Eilert, essentially a swing bowler, trying to swing it, has to give it a chance, and if it doesn't do it, that's what happens.
Peter Martin, tallest man in the England tour party, but away through the covers, just 2 full, and 4 more, and Hudson in full cry.
I'm not sure Peter Martin is on at the right end at the Umgani end, because the wind is hardly suited to his away swing.
Upish, but it's 4 more.
He's got a little bit of drift there, but the wind, if anything, is coming over his left shoulder, and you really can't bowl that sort of stuff to Andrew Hudson. He's ready to take anything on.
Dominic Cork. Is that off the bat, off the pads? I think it might be the bat. And 4 runs, bringing up the 50 partnership. So a cracking start for South Africa. Not 15 overs bowled yet.
Terrific stuff. Hudson in particular, he really has gone off like a train, and Michael Atherton's got to do something. It's got to be a bowling change.
It's caught by Graham Hick at second slip, and a fine catch too. And that's the breakthrough England desperately needed, because although Kirsten was playing the anchor role, Hudson was prospering at the other end, and 54 have come very quickly for the first wicket.
It's a better spell. He switched to the Old Fort Road end, and I think that'll suit him better, but it was the bounce there rather than movement, and Graham Hick did well, because a slip like Hick, he's dropped the odd one off of left-handers in the past. That one, no mistake at all. That's Gary Kirsten's sheet anchor effort. Just 8 runs out of 54 for the first wicket. But it really was the bounce here.
Enter the captain, Hansie Cronje. 5 test hundreds to his credit, and the average has gone over the 40 mark. Approaching 1,500 runs in test match cricket now. And he too has been in tremendous form. Richard Illingworth. And yes, up goes the finger. Dave Orchard making his first decision in test match cricket, and a difficult one always, the bat pad. And let's see what happened.
Well, the 6th over by Richard Illingworth. He's dropped straight away into length and line, and that one, unlucky in a way that it's flicked off the top of the pad onto the glove, but really if you're going to shoulder arms, then the bat must be withdrawn completely. And David Orchard got that right, and it was one that easily he could have got wrong.
Very good decision. See, he doesn't think it's going to bounce as much as it does, off the flap, and not withdrawing the bat and gloves well out of the way and paying the penalty. Crawley doing the job at silly point.
Well, 9 fours there, and really he's dominated the first session. So England have hit back now, 56 for 2.
Daryl Cullinan, fresh from 2 splendid 60s at the Wanderers, and a 50 in his last innings for Border. and he is approaching 1,000 runs in Test match cricket.
Oh, what a beauty that really was. Just a little wide, but early in an innings, close enough to make the batsman play. The problems at both ends now that Martin's settled in, because Illingworth is creating the pressure.
A little noise there inside of the bat, just brushing the pad. No third man. Umpire Steve Buckner from the West Indies, very welcome guest in this part of the world.
Well, a run rate that was nestling on 4 suddenly dropped to well below 3. Well, that'll help it along a bit.
Catch it!
In the air, and Martin has done what they asked him to do. He's caught it. Now that is a big blow for South Africa. Not far from the lunch interval.
That's right, only about a quarter of an hour to go, and I can understand Cronje trying to put Illingworth away over the top. He really has put the shackles on, but he was nowhere near the pitch, and it's a bit surprising he went through with a shot. It was an all or nothing, and it's ended up nothing.
Just 8. And South Africa suddenly in trouble at 73 for 3 after that tremendous start. Jonty Rhodes coming to the wicket at number 5, not the young Jacques Kallis that many thought might be the case. Average not good for a top order batsman. That one match-saving 100 made against Sri Lanka. And Jonty Rhodes just 2 at lunch with Cullinan on 9, and no doubt round 1 to England.
Yeah, that was a big session for England in the end. At one stage it looked as though South Africa were romping away, but those 3 wickets, it's pegged them back. Eilert not used there beyond the first spell. Cork, the heaviest workload as usual. Look at those figures of Illingworth at the bottom. There's the man who's made that session. 2 for 7 off 8.
That must be close. No shot offered. No, says umpire Illingworth on his knees.
Now, Richard Illingworth, he's not a great demonstrative appealer, not like Dominic Cork, and that was one he really thought he'd got, because have a look where it pitches. She's just outside off stump, carrying on, no turn. Doesn't matter whether the pad's outside the line or not. He got a reasonable stride in, and that is what put enough doubt in umpire Orchard's mind.
He's caught by Robin Smith at cover point. And Cullinan a bit bogged down, and it was just a matter of time. One felt that he was going to try and break the stranglehold, and playing that in the air, and Smith pouching it.
I think Richard Illingworth has earned this wicket. He's kept them so tight, and that it did drift away, there's no question of that. Had it not swung so much, it would probably have been hit through the covers. Instead, it went pretty hard, and that was quite a good catch by Robin Smith. That's the end of Cullinan, and you see how many deliveries he's faced. 60 deliveries and 2 fours in that 10, so that shows how difficult he found to score any runs. It was the away drift that did him.
So a second wicket for Martin in only his 4th Test match, and a great moment for young 20-year-old Jacques Kallis from the Western Province. He's been in prolific form. Oh, he's caught. Martin got that one to do just enough to find the outside edge. And now South Africa are really in trouble.
Yes, they are. Kallis stood there, and you can interpret that one of 2 ways. Either he didn't think he'd hit it, or more probably, as I've seen Mark Ramprakash do recently, just the sheer disappointment. You see the bat drawn away from the front pad by the away swing again. And I'm quite sure that Martin, now on at the right end, has settled into something like his top form.
What a sad moment for Kallis, an average of 50 in first-class cricket at a tender age, and this season he's really been piling on the runs, but disappointment in his first Test.
Well, some great players have started with 1 less than his one, so he needn't worry about that. But there's the perfect picture of how he went.
Brian McMillan at number 7. Relief for South Africa that they can have somebody of his caliber calibre coming in at number 7. An average of over 45, the highest of any of the South African Test players. They all go up. No, says umpire Orchard. So he's having quite a rough time in his first Test match.
See that ball spinning? Well, was it onto bat, then pad, and across the back of the bat? England thought so. Umpire Orchard didn't.
Certainly had to contend with a few appeals. Dominic Cork to Rhodes. Appeal for LBW. Big stride in. No, says umpire Bucknor. Cork can't believe it.
Well, Cork, a great appealer, but bowling from so close, he's got more chance than most. Let's see why Bucknor said no. It's pitched round about middle and off, and a bit of the pad outside, but not the business part, I don't think. Got a good stride in, and again, that does wonders in swaying an umpire. There's a nick down the leg side. Just had to get bat on it, and 4 it was. Occasionally that'll find its way into the wicketkeeper's gloves, but it doesn't look as though it's Dominic Cork's day today.
So the 100 brought up with this shot that flies just wide of Russell, and very interesting that South Africa's first 50 came up in the 15th over, and it's taken some 36 overs to make another 50. Jonty Rhodes plays his favourite shot, and that's 4 runs. This one he really did get hold of.
Yes, he did, and it was off the stumps, but it was of the right sort of length that he could get it almost on the half volley and therefore get some sort of control in. There it is, well pitched up and able to whack it in front of square.
That's all timing, and it might go all the way. It does.
Well, Michael Atherton has been trying to block McMillan leg side, and finally the big man has decided runs have got to come from somewhere. It was nicely timed.
Using his feet nicely, makes it into the full toss and packs it away.
Well, this partnership just starting to mean something now. They've had to graft and grind their way through a lot of trouble, some of it self-inflicted from the top order, but they're doing a good job.
Mark Eilert back at the Umgani end. Oh, that was streaky. Just wide of second slip Hick.
Well, the slip had been moved, and that wry smile from McMillan shows that he knows he's got away with a little bit of something. They'd put him leg side, and lo and behold, more or less from where he'd been, or certainly would have had some sort of chance had he had another man there. It wasn't all that wide of Hick.
Clouds gathering. It's been a big problem over the years here in Durban. Bad light. Just a little push into the covers. I'll get a single. And that brings up a very worthwhile 50 partnership for the 6th wicket. Interesting that of the 10 biggest partnerships that South Africa has had since reintroduction to Test match cricket, 5 of those have been for the 6th or 7th wicket. So once again, the lower order saving the day.
Well, McMillan there, 127 balls that partnership's come from. I think he's South Africa's best batsman.
Well, always a problem in Durban. They've had a lot of rain. We've had it all over the country. They've had a couple of looks at the light, and the light meters have been out. What are they going to decide on this time? It looks as though they've offered it to the batsman, and they gratefully accept. And, well, at 2:45, a lot of time is going to be lost, and I doubt whether there'll be any more play today.
Unfortunately, an early end to the first day's play. The South African scorecard, when bad light stopped play, 139 for 5. fluently struck 45 from Andrew Hudson, but Kirsten was gone for 8, Cronje the same, Cullinan only 10, but Rhodes was still there, with Kallis having failed in his first match and McMillan not out 26. 139 for 5. Let's have a look at the partnerships. And it certainly was a good start from Hudson and Kirsten. The anchor role being played by Kirsten before he went out with a score at 54. So it was a good first wicket partnership. But then the only other partnership, meaningful one, is the unbeaten one. Jonty Rhodes, as always, coming to the rescue when things are tough. And Big Mac there as well, too. That's 50 off 129 balls. Cork, 0 for 41 off 19 overs. Ilott bowled quite well in his second spell, and then Martin really came right after 17 runs off his first 2 overs. He took 3 for 30.
Rather limp at the mast. And Peter Martin from the Old Fort Road end. Oh, and he's caught. Very good catch too by Jack Russell as Martin finds the outside edge of Brian McMillan's bat. And that's exactly what England wanted, an early South African wicket to break this partnership.
A little bit of a surprise selection for this test. Peter Martin bowled extremely well yesterday and then started off his day like that. A great catch from Jack Russell, another great catch, and a good wicket for Peter Martin. So a very valuable wicket for England to get. Brian McMillan rated the best South African batsman by them, so he exits with his score at 28.
Just adding a couple to his overnight situation, and South Africa adding only 2 runs as well. Big blow this for South Africa, and Martin's 4th wicket in the innings. He's only taken 5 wickets in his previous 3 test matches, and an opportunity of getting a 5-fer in this test match. Very good catch by Russell. It was dying on him as he went away to his right. 112 test catches now, and of course that world record that he created at the Wanderers of 11 dismissals in a test match. Dave Richardson, he's played some valuable innings for South Africa, an average of over 25, which is not bad for a man coming in down the order at 7 or 8. Big appeal for LBW. No, says umpire Steve Bucknell from the West Indies.
Well, the umpires have been put under considerable pressure stemming from the last match, and they're making a lot of good decisions in this one.
That's 4 runs. There's no third man.
Dave Richardson starting a little bit shakily. He didn't quite seem to be in sync with his game as he hits this one with a little bit of a stab of that shot over the slips, but still 4 runs.
Beauty from Martin. He's certainly got the ball to go away from the right-hander.
Well, what one doesn't see from this action shot is the way he went wide of the crease when he started the delivery, so the line of the ball changing, beating Jonty Rhodes.
Mark Ilott, an appeal for LBW. Up goes the finger of umpire Dave Orchard, and Jonty Rhodes has to go. And like McMillan, he hasn't added much to his overnight situation.
Well, another typically gritty knock from Jonty Rhodes. He was under pressure to begin with. He gutsed it out and got a fairly good stride in here, and then missed the ball as it swung in towards him. Delighted Mark Ilott appealing and then getting the affirmative action from Dave Orchard.
He has the ability to straighten it up onto the right-hander. He also has the ability, of course, to go across. So Jonty Rhodes, like McMillan, adding just 2 to his overnight situation. But an innings full of character once again. Over 3 hours at the wicket. Good stride in there, so a little bit unlucky. I think an iffish sort of LBW decision.
Well, if one looked at it a couple of times, one had to go with the umpire. So, and he only saw it once. So I thought it was, at the end, a good decision by Dave Orchard.
Ilott again from the Mgani end. Across him, he's got the edge. You heard the sound, and Russell does the rest. And Dave Richardson is gone, caught behind. He'd got a few that, like the Jonty Rhodes LBW, had come back at him, straightened up on him, swung into him, and now suddenly the one from Ireland that goes across the right-hander and it finds the edge.
Well, it's absolutely amazing what happens when the left armour gets the in-swinger to go. Batsmen tend to fiddle like that at the one that goes straight across them. Really good delivery. It looked a weak shot from Dave Richardson, but in fact he was rather fooled by the fact that the other deliveries had been coming back into him in the air, and then got that one. So a relatively routine catch for Jack Russell. He makes them look so easy because he moves so well, and another valuable wicket for England.
Disaster for South Africa. Just 14 runs added on the second day. Craig Matthews, remember that splendid 62 not out at Headingley in Leeds, the second test match against England last year, where he, along with the 100 made by Kirsten, saved the day for South Africa and the test match.
He also did well at Lords, if I remember.
Big shot, he's gone.
Didn't get going on this occasion, and this one, if one watches closely, one sees the normal delivery now from Eilert coming back onto him and beating the inside edge of the bat. His foot going a little bit too far across the line, so he had to play across his pad a little bit, wasn't able to do that, and in the end, routine decision for the umpire.
Yes, same sort of delivery to Rhodes, but he didn't get the same stride in that Rhodes got, and he was definitely very much adjacent. So 4 wickets lost and 14 runs. Now Alan Donald, who is progressing with the bat. See his highest score of 33. That was made this year against Zimbabwe in the one-off test up in Harare. And that's 4 runs. Well, they brought the mid-off into a silly mid-off, and he nearly blocked that, and it's raced away to the boundary.
Well, I think it was an attempted Yorker from Eilert. That's always a useful delivery to a tail-ender. Wasn't quite the right length. Donald just thrust it away. Good shot.
Oh, well, it'll be runs, I think, because even though he didn't offer a shot, he was taking evasive action, 4-leg buys. That's the way it works.
Well, no such thing as fast bowlers union anymore. And look at that, just having a look at the shoulder. It obviously stung him as it went past. So one up in the block hole, another one short. Take that.
It'll go in the memory bank. Die olifant vergeet nooit.
That's the one we're remembering a lot.
Good shot. Through mid-wicket. And he kept it down too. Fine shot by Sean Pollock.
Well, Sean Pollock gains in our admiration every time he comes out onto the field. First of all, his bowling has been dynamic and his batting's improving all the time.
Streaky. There's no third man, so it's 4 runs.
South Africa still deep in trouble, so every run being greeted with a huge round of applause by this enthusiastic crowd.
Good shot, straight down the ground. 4 more. And this partnership now will be really getting under the skin of the English players.
Well, they came together at 153, so as I've said, every run valuable.
Just chips it away on the onside, and it's got enough on it and will go all the way.
Well, this is one of the most remarkable improvements that I've ever seen in cricket, because Alan Donald was really, as we called, a walking bonus point a few years ago, and look at this now. That's an accomplished shot.
And this young man has an average of 50 in Castle Currie Cup cricket in South Africa this year, and look at that. That's why. That's a glorious cover drive.
Absolutely classic shot. He's a sort of batsman that one is so surprised to see him batting that low for Natal, because He's really a superb cricketer, and he's a worthy successor when it comes the time for Brian McMillan to give away as South Africa's all-rounder.
Well, he has bowled Natal to the top of the Castle Cup, but his batting contributions have been significant. Dropped just short, I think, there of Russell. There was no doubt a definite little inside edge there, but dropping short, I think, of the keeper.
Well, it has to be considered a half chance, because although he was going the other direction, his hand didn't come forward. If he'd stretched forward, he might have caught that one.
Gets it away, backward a square. Crawley is... Oops, he pulled up suddenly there, and it went for 4 just as he was straining to get round, and it looks as though he might have done a hamstring. So this partnership, not only from a runs point of view is it becoming a great irritation to England, but because of it, suddenly Crawley looks as though he's in trouble.
Well, it looks like big trouble. That shows you just how quickly he had to pull up as he felt the pull in the left hamstring, and he's really under a considerable discomfort. Able to walk off the field, but that's because the injury is still warm. I'm sure you'll find that when it stiffens up, he's going to be in a lot of pain.
Martin again to Pollock. Nice looking drive. I don't think it'll go for 4, but it'll bring up the 50. That's the partnership between these two, and the crowd love it. Beautiful day here at Kingsmead, sunshine, good crowd in, and heroics from Donald and Pollock. The record of 44 between Dave Richardson and Fanie de Villiers, the best ever at Kingsmead for the 10th wicket. And now that, of course, surpassed by those two. There you see the bandage that Crawley has around that hamstring, and he looks in considerable discomfort, as you say, now that it's cooled off. Certainly Martin has peppered Donald with a few short deliveries, and Donald will remember them. Well, he's much faster than Martin.
And that action has caused him some considerable discomfort. He's been suffering from a groin injury and has been rested for a couple of provincial games. So this is a big worry from the South African point of view.
In the air, but safe, and 4 runs. So after having a couple of bounces bowled at him and maybe just aggravating that groin a little bit, he suddenly comes right and decides to lash out at Martin and gets 4 runs over covers.
Yes, well, he's obviously in discomfort. He's grimacing all the time now, but fast bowlers get used to these things.
Richard Illingworth, and he's bowled him. And Illingworth, the spinner, and it's so interesting that after only 5 overs of the new ball, the left-arm spinner was back to try and sort this final partnership out, and Illingworth has done so. And this is a beautiful, slow, drifting arm ball that goes through the gate.
Well, great experience here from Illingworth. Perfect line and length, and Alan Donald succumbing at last. But really the most wonderful partnership by the South Africans, putting on something like 70, and Alan Donald almost his top score in Test cricket.
Yes, just 1 short of the 33 he made against Zimbabwe earlier, and over an hour and a half at the wicket with Pollock. The best partnership ever for the 10th wicket between Tuppy Owen Smith and Sandy Bell at Leeds in 1929, and 72 now they made, and some respectability in the end to that South African scorecard after a great start when Cronje won the toss, and that dramatic collapse to 153 for 9, and then Pollock and Donald with their 72 runs from 149 balls, lifting it to 225.
So unusual to have the last wicket as the biggest partnership.
Cork, the man who took so many wickets, 9 of them at the Wanderers, no luck this time. Eilert took all 3 today, bowled much better with the old ball. Martin 4 for 60, bowled well after lunch yesterday and again today. And Richard Illingworth, of course, was the man who applied all the pressure in his bowling. Average approaching 40 for Alex Stewart. Once he gets going, he's a very good player. And of course, Atherton, his average hugely boosted by that 185 not out, his top score made to save the test match at the Wanderers, going past the 4,000 run mark in the process. Alan Donald from the Old Fort Road end. He's caught. He's brilliantly caught at the finer of the two gullies. Andrew Hudson, the man who took the catch, and that will be a welcome sight to the South Africans. Mike Atherton, the England captain's back.
Well, there's a great feeling here among the journalists that once Atherton goes, that's half the England resolve gone. And so South Africa could have had no better start than this. A brilliant low catch by Andrew Hudson, going sharply but low, and he picked it up with ease in the end. So great delight to see the back of Mike Atherton for only 2.
First over of the England innings, and just look at that catch. He had to come forward and go down to make it. Superb pair of hands. Now Graham Thorpe having to come in at number 3 because of the hamstring injury to John Crawley, brought into the side to replace the out of form Mark Ramprakash, but no luck for Crawley, and Thorpe is the man out there. He's caught by Cullinan in the slips. Another brilliant catch. He won't go. He thinks it might have dropped short, but up goes the finger from umpire Steve Bucknor. Just a little look across to Dave Orchard. Orchard acknowledged that it had carried, and Cullinan, that's his second beautiful low catch that he's taken in this series.
Well, he's got wonderful hands, Daryl Cullinan, and Graham Thorpe doesn't like batting number 3, unlike Graham Hick, who's desperate to bat up the order, but the England selectors won't let him, and this is why Graham Thorpe doesn't like batting here. The ball angling across him, and Daryl Cullinan, another superb catch right on the ground, but he did pick it up, and everyone in the South African camp delighted. So England's second most valuable player now exits the scene.
So like his captain, just 2 runs, and England 13 for 2, and Donald has struck twice. This will tell us, I think, if it carried the super slow-mo. Yes, what a fine catch. Now Robin Smith, scheduled to bat at number 6, up the order. Hick, in other words, not moving up, staying at 5. Smith leapfrogging over him and into number 4 because of Crawley being injured. Oh, that's over the top of slips and 4 runs. First ball from Robin Smith. What a shot to play.
Well, it just shows the tension in the man. He's desperate here. There's a full-page article in the local newspaper about how desperate he was to get 100 here at Kingsmead, in his hometown, and this was the first ball.
Guess who? Jonty Rhodes.
Well, another man on his home ground. He's the hero here, all right. And he's really living up to that worship. He's so confident about the dive that he doesn't really worry about moving his feet too much. He knows that by diving he will get there and he will stop the ball.
Nice shot. Well timed. It was well up to him, and he just used the pace of the delivery through mid-wicket for 4.
Change of tactics here that didn't work. Hansie Cronje moving an extra man onto the offside into this catching position, and the reaction from Robin Smith to use the gap.
He's got this one away. Backward a square. Go all the way. Don't stray onto the leg stump to English batsmen.
Quite a difficult thing to do because there was a reasonably stiff breeze today into the bowler from this end, the Umgani end.
Craig Matthews back in the South African side. And with no third man, that's hammered away, and Smith has come out here blazing.
Yes, I felt that the gully might so easily have gone back 5 meters and might have had a better chance to catch that one, because it went past him like a tracer bullet.
Brian McMillan from the Umgani end. Lucky. That's 4 runs over the keeper's head.
Alex Stewart's feet were not working so well at this stage. He's committing himself very quickly to the back foot, not getting properly into line. So he was straight behind this one and edged it over the keeper.
Full toss. Swinging full toss. He had to really reach for that. But it's a bonus 4 runs for Smith.
Brian McMillan trying to give the ball extra time to swing, slightly over pitching it, and well put away. That's the sign of a class batsman. Leaning into it just to push it into the gap.
Matthews to Stewart. Oh, a glorious shot. His first step is back, and then he came forward into the ball and placed it beautifully.
Yes, again, watch the feet. Not really moving well. He doesn't get forward, but still good timing.
Hitting right through that. Alan Donald putting a guard on the hamstring. Maybe he just got a little twinge of the hamstring over and above the problems of the groin while he was batting. And that's away for 4. If you stray onto the leg stump, they'll work you away there as easy as anything.
Yes, well, this one was actually dangerous for the short leg Gary Kirsten here, because it comes straight off the face of the bat and he has no chance of even considering moving. Look at that. By the time he'd moved, it was past him, and it could so easily have hit him. The partnership gaining now in credibility. 52 runs, almost equally shared between both batsmen.
Peel for LBW. Oh, could only have been height, I think, that saved him there.
Yes, again, getting committed onto the back foot, Alex Stewart. So the ball, when it seems, can tend to beat the bat, and did so here, but it ball a bit high.
Is he gone? Yes, Matthews thinks he's got him, so does McMillan, and another good catch in the slips from the South Africans, this time those huge paws of Brian McMillan.
Well, these low good catches are becoming routine for the side. They're actually making them look easier than they really are. And a fine delivery from Craig Matthews, just when it looked as though the batsman was settled and playing him comfortably. Look how far forward he has to go for that. That's a very difficult thing to do for a slip fielder, but delight for Craig Matthews and for the South African side.
And for a big man like McMillan to get forward, just over an hour and a half for his 34. He started by racing to 18 off only 13 deliveries, but pushing at that one, and tremendous catch by Brian McMillan in the fingers. So Graham Hick now comes to the wicket with England in trouble, even though they're only looking at a poor South African first innings score of 225. Hick has made 200s against South Africa, one at Headingley and that 141 at Centurion Park. Gone. Andrew Hutchin, he pouches his second, and that went quickly to him. The first one that he got, that of Atherton, was low, was a brilliant catch, but that went high, head height, and he snatched it. And Stewart, who has just looked as though he was settled, and he was in. And he's dangerous when he's like that, and that's a great wicket for the South Africans.
Craig Matthews inducing another loose shot here. Alex Stewart playing away from his body, hitting it firmly, and Andrew Hudson showing that those hands of his are getting safer year by year. But another solid performance by Alex Stewart, and another useful decision or dismissal by the South African team. So England now getting into deep trouble at 93 for 4.
Well, Craig Matthews being preferred to Merrick Pringle in the South African side, and well, he's producing the goods with a little help from his friends. Jack Russell, what a thorn in the flesh of the South Africans he's been. All of the South Africans, in fact, he's made 471 runs, including that 100 and 350s, and with 4 not outs, an average of 94.2 here in South Africa on tour. Lovely shot by Hick there off the back foot. That's one of his strengths.
Yes, another man from the African continent. Graham Hick played Perm Laser Week when he was under 13 in South Africa, and he's another man very keen to do well here, and certainly with shots like that there's no reason why he shouldn't.
He's caught, brilliantly caught by Jonty Rhodes. Who else? What a diving catch that was, and Jack Russell has gone. He's batted for over 24 hours against South Africans on this tour, and he's really been a pain in the neck for the South Africans, including that wonderful 4.5-hour match-saving performance where he stayed with Atherton at the Wanderers. But Jonty Rhodes ends it all with this unbelievable effort.
Well, one might have expected it was going to take something brilliant to get rid of Jack Russell, and it certainly did. But all credit to Craig Matthews, who induced the shot, and then to Jonty Rhodes, whose superb agility managed to make that catch look, if anything, easier than it was. His movement here is superb. He doesn't have the time to move his feet very much, but such is the confidence that he has in his diving ability that he just launches himself full length and gets it with 2 hands.
He moves so quickly. That's his secret. And that was really an unbelievable effort. Well, would you believe it? England 109 for 5. And what started out as a disastrous day for South Africa, England all going their way. Certainly round 1 yesterday went to England. Now the whole balance has swung again. Dominic Cork, new to Test cricket, coming in against the West Indies in the second Test at Lords. Had a great series with ball particularly and bat. That was a close-ish thing. That couldn't have been too far away from the short leg Gary Kirsten.
Well, such has been the brilliance of the South African fielding and catching that one gets the feeling that they can catch anything. But this one just proved elusive for him, even though he moved incredibly well to get to it.